So I'm going to have to try and record this before the timer goes off. I'm currently cooking Elvis's dinner. Organic turkey breasts. Nothing but the best here for my little Elvis. Hello, everybody. By the way, welcome back to my channel, Book Time with Elvis with me, Mark, and I have a bit of a book haul for you. It's quite a small haul by the general standards of this channel, but it's quite nice as well because at least one of them was unexpected, and it looks really interesting. I'll start off with that actually. I turned up at work today, and on my desk was a book. And our deputy head was in the town where I live. He was visiting here, and he was at the museum. And the museum had a box of secondhand books, and he was looking through for himself. And then he came across one, and he said, "Oh, it's in English." And then he looked inside, and he's like, "Oh, it's historical. I'll buy that for Mark." So that was really nice of him. That was really, really lovely. And it was this one. God knows how it ended up here in the Czech Republic, yeah, because excuse me. Oh, hiccups, maybe. Because it's quite an old edition, but it's actually in very good nick. I mean, the pages are yellowed, you see, but the cover and everything's really good. And I've got a feeling, it may have been read, but it's by Anya Seton, who, after looking her up, I think she was originally Anna Seton, and she was a American writer of historical fiction and author apparently of a book called Catherine, but this is a book called The Winthrop Woman, and it looks jolly interesting actually. So I'm gonna have to give it a go. What does it say on the back? This is the life of Bess, her loves, her dangers, her tragedies, a recreation of a woman who lived through almost every daunting experience a woman can face, who won a long, hard fight for peace and freedom and an established home. So that could be really good. I checked it out on Goodreads and it gets quite a good rating. So, yeah, I mean, how kind is that, really? I have to say. And it is, yeah, it's a really cool old coronet edition. I guess it's from the 70s. And the recommended retail price in the United Kingdom was 40 pence. So that gives you some idea of how old it is. Now, the others I got because I had to put in an order because I've been wanting the latest book by Goncharov from Alma Classics, and that was released back in September, I think, and it's called An Uncommon Story, and it's a play, I guess, on the fact that he wrote a book called Common Story, which I read recently, and it was fantastic. I really recommend that. And this is about his feud with Ivan Turgenev. And I think, it's not huge. I think it's mostly letters and things back and forth. But I'll read the back to you. Goncharov was the leading Russian writer of the 1850s and is author of The Same Old Story. The Same Old Story. That's the one that I read. Was regarded as the real heir to Nikolai Gogol. But the publication of Turgenev's first full-length novel, A Nest of the Gentry, in 1859, at around the same time as Goncharov's Oblomov, which is probably his most famous work, which had been more than 10 years in the making, suddenly changed the public's perception. Turgenev's success was eyed with suspicion by his rival, who started to believe that his work in progress, Malinovka Heights, had been plagiarized by his former friend. Goncharov had in fact discussed in detail with Turgenev the plot of his new novel, and the latter later admitted that, being very impressionable, he may have been influenced by some of its elements. But his friend's charges went further. He accused the younger writer of stealing his ideas, his characters, and even some of his plot lines. As Turgenev's success increased over the years, so did Goncharov's resentment, and the two novelists, although later reconciled, stopped communicating with each other. An Uncommon Story, published posthumously in 1924, is an extraordinary document that lays bare the jealousies felt, but rarely expressed by writers, and an eternal monument to literary paranoia. So, that sounds pretty interesting, doesn't it? So I'm looking forward to that. But, I couldn't, to get like the free delivery and whatever, I couldn't just get this one book, of course. So it led me to getting a couple of others. And actually getting a few of them I read recently, actually, but I wanted copies because I enjoyed them so much. But it did lead to me getting my first H.P. Lovecraft that I ever bought that wasn't an ebook. And it's, as you see here, The Rats in the Walls and Other Tales. So, when the descendant of an ancient aristocratic family moves from Massachusetts to Exham Priory, his ancestral home in the south of England, he is plagued by the constant noise of rats scurrying within its walls. As the sound begins to haunt his dreams, he investigates the house and discovers a horrific secret underneath, which will bring him to the point of madness. Considered one of the most accomplished examples of the horror genre, The Rats in the Walls is presented here alongside other quintessentially Lovecraftian tales, such as the Dunwich Horror at the Mountains of Madness, The Colour Out of Space, and The Horror at Red Hook, in a brand new collection which will delight new readers and those familiar with the blood-curdling imaginary world of the 20th century's master of terror. And I've been inspired really because of Michael K. Vaughan, and I don't know if you've listened to our podcast that we did, because I have a podcast called Tales from the Quill, where I talk to other booktubers about their favourite authors, and Michael and I discussed the life and works of H.P. Lovecraft. And I'd have to say, if I do say so myself, it was pretty interesting. Michael is very, very knowledgeable, and I thoroughly enjoyed the chat I had with him. I'll leave the link down below. You should check it out if you're so inclined and have a free hour to spare, because it's a longer form. So there's that. And next up is The Monk. It's a great edition. I do love these Alma classics. The Monk, a romance by Matthew Gregory Lewis, and it was a book I read, I can't remember if it was this year or last year, as part of the Gothic book club, Gothic horror book club that we have with Vin from Revenant Reads, but I really enjoyed it. It was one of my favourites that we chose, so I thought it'd be nice to have a copy, and when I saw this wonderful copy that wasn't super scary, like the Oxford World Classics one is pretty darn scary, maybe also even the Penguin Classics one is, but this I don't know, I just really like that, and it's kind of got you can see like a sheen, almost metallic kind of look to it, which is cool. A masterpiece of the Gothic genre, The Monk tells the story of the Capuchin friar Ambrosio and his fall from grace through desire, greed, and lust. Favourably reviewed at first, the novel was later so widely and raucously denounced for its perceived licentiousness, blasphemy, and corrupting influence that Lewis had to remove controversial passages from future editions. Unsurprisingly, amidst the furore, the book was immensely popular with the reading public. Suffused with eroticism and focusing on the corrupting influence of power, The Monk pioneered a shocking new form of Gothic novel where elements such as mob violence, incest, and brutal murder replaced the gentler horrors of earlier practitioners of the genre. So if you don't want to read that after hearing all that, there must be something wrong with you, right? And staying with the Gothic, another one we did recently in the same book club was Thomas de Quincey's Confessions of an English Opium Eater, and I wanted to get an edition, and I saw it and I thought, well, I'll get the Alma one. It's pretty cool. I like that. And again, I also enjoyed the book. I wouldn't have got it otherwise. In an examination of his laudanum addiction and the dreams and visions the drug engendered, Thomas de Quincey lays bare the celestial pleasures and infernal lows of an existence dependent on subtle and mighty opium. At once moving and rhapsodic and suffused with a poetic and lyrical beauty, Confessions of an English Opium Eater hauntingly evokes frightful scenes and phantasmagorical nighttime wanderings, while reality, dream, and memory blur and entwine in a nebulous of protean haze. There we go. So, yeah, pretty cool, right? Not quite, unfortunately, available for Victober because it's published in the 1820s. But, it's pretty cool that Elizabeth Barrett Browning gives, some blurb on the back here. My heart trembled through from end to end. What a poet that man is. How he vivifies words and deepens them and gives them profound significance. So, there we go. Cool. And the last one definitely fits in with Victober, although I won't be able to fit it in because it's quite long. And that was getting a hold of the Alma version of The Moonstone by Wilkie Collins. Again, quite a nice cover there. I'm sure most people know this, but I'll read the back. When Rachel Verinder's legacy of a priceless Indian diamond is stolen, all the evidence indicates that it is her beloved Franklin Blake who is guilty. Around the central axis of crime and thwarted love, Collins reconstructs an ingenious plot of teasing twists and surprises and an elaborate multi-voice narrative that sustains the tension all the way to its stunning ending. And according to the blurb on the back here, Dorothy L. Sayers really liked it. Probably the very finest detective story ever written, she says about it. But, that's obviously her opinion. We'll see. So, yeah, there we go. That's my little haul. Hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments what you think of these books, and if you have read them or if you want to read any of them. I look forward to hearing from you. So, everybody, thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you all again soon. Bye for now.